Hey everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode of the VOD Squad. This is episode 71, February 28th, 2018. I am Clyde, and today I am joined by Jimmy Trammell.
Evening, everyone.
Michael Aston.
Hello, everybody.
And Matthew Ross.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. How are you guys?
Oh, working a lot and a little tired, but hey, glad to be here with you guys.
Yeah. You know, we're hitting all the milestones this month. We had a show on Valentine's Day. Now we're having a show on the last day of the month. Didn't we have a show on the first day of the month, too? Maybe not.
I don't know.
I don't know what day February 1st was, but you know what? I am glad to be here, and I am looking forward to... We've got a lot of stuff to talk about this week.
Oh, no, there wasn't that much news. What are you talking about? Actually,
I popped into the doc earlier, and I was like, wait, there's only one story? It must be a dead week. And then I started looking, I was like, I got too much. I just left some stuff out that I didn't think was as important.
Actually, between truth being told, I actually was watching this week and was looking at the news, and there was a lot of like really minor stuff that was like, is that a big story? Oh no! And the only one that I could come up with was our first story. So I'm glad you filled it in because I was busy today. I couldn't find any.
Yeah, no worries.
Time to find
I had a short lull at work and went. I've got a few minutes while I was waiting for some stuff to happen, and then
okay,
it was like, oh. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe we should get right into it.
Sure, we can do that. Let's start with the story from Amazon. They're now going to allow you to sign up for UFC pay-per-view fights on their service, and you do not need to be a Prime member in order to be on. This means that if you want to use their service in order to purchase your viewing of UFC fights, there's no need to be a Prime member. There's no need to sign up for the Prime streaming service. It's something you could just go ahead and turn on at any time you need it, which is actually pretty cool. I know some people who are really into these fights, and that's their thing. So, anyway, more ways they can do to get the content to them is good.
Yeah. I think it's awesome that they're saying, hey, for this stuff, you can just pay. As long as you pay us money, we don't care if you're a subscriber. I mean, that's commerce, and I'm always down for commerce. So,
well, I mean, yeah, I think too. It says where streaming is now, right? Because I mean, you think about it. Even back when we began this show, a little over a year and a half ago, would we even think of pay-per-view coming to streaming? Not even a year and a half ago would you really think that, right? And now here it is.
I'm just excited about this because if they're doing it for UFC, they're going to start doing it for other pay-per-view things, right?
Absolutely, exactly my point, right? Yeah, I mean, here it is coming to streaming. Used to that was cable only, right? Now it's coming to streaming. So, I mean, definitely we're seeing a change in the service offering.
Very cool.
Yeah. This is cool, and I especially like that it's available through Amazon because I find signing up for things and getting stuff through Amazon super easy and convenient. Being a Fire TV user and an Amazon junkie, it's a good sign for me. I love the idea of being able to get everything I want streaming and not having to miss out, though I probably will never buy any of these types of features. It's comforting to know that they're there.
Well, you never know. What if Iowa college football has a pay-per-view event? You'll pay for that. I mean, sorry, Idaho, Boise State, right?
Yeah.
Not Iowa. You're right, Hawkeye.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, I mean, seeing this kind of thing is comforting because it means that I don't have to risk missing out because I'm not paying for a cable subscription, which was the way that it was in the past. And, maybe I'll have a friend that is a big fan of the UFC and we'll do a party or something like that. I've done it before and it's a lot of fun. And so while it's improbable it will affect me, it's comforting to know that it's there.
And as you were saying, you were happy that you're a big Amazon customer and that they're doing this. Well, I'm happy that Amazon is letting you do this without being a big Amazon customer. And I'm hoping that there's a lot of other, I hope all the other streaming services step up and go, yeah, we'll offer you UFC if you want to pay $65 for a show. We'll just stream that too. Sure. We need them all to do that.
I don't know for sure because I've never actually clicked on any of them and I find them super annoying, but PlayStation Vue, like every 3 or 4 times I open it, it pops up like a splash page trying to get me to sign up for something. And I don't know, maybe it's something like this. The last one I remember was something about NBA Finals. And I don't know if it was just telling me that the NBA Finals are on, let me take you to it, because I always say no thank you. Or maybe it was sign up for these special access to the NBA Finals. I don't even care. I find it super annoying that they're advertising to me on a service that I already pay that much money for, and and not just that it's advertising to me, but it's blocking advertising, right? Like you stop me in my access to what I'm paying you for to tell me, hey, you can get this. And again, maybe they don't even charge for it, but I don't want that. It's super annoying. But point is, maybe this kind of thing is already happening on PlayStation Vue and other services. We just don't know too much about it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Moving on, we have CBS, who is, they launched a service a little while ago where you could go ahead and get their 24-hour news streaming service. Excuse me, can't talk today. Now they've launched a secondary free streaming service, all for CBS Sports. CBS Sports HQ will be available on many of the different streaming platforms, and you will be able to see on all kinds of highlights and various sports. I don't know if they're going to be doing any live sports on this. It's a good question. But it's going to be on for the Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV, Chromecast, iOS, and Android devices. And it's absolutely for free.
Yeah, no, this is, it won't see live sports because this is news.
Okay.
This is 24-hour streaming news. So if you like Sports Center and you want to know the late-breaking deal with some basketball's bastard child in custody, hey,
no,
people get enthralled in that kind of thing. So, the custody battles of the rich and famous, you'll be able to check it out. You're up at 2:00 in the morning and you want to, check in on the news that you missed while you were sleeping.
Thank goodness you don't have to pay for it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I say good on them, will I use it? Probably not.
But it's interesting that we have, the services from like Fox is taking their news and turning it into a paid-for stream service, and then you have CBS, which has a paid-for TV channel that is giving away free news services, and so it's kind of interesting to see which way works better.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that they're totally different markets, right? This is a way to try to. I think this is kind of a supplement in the opposite direction, saying, you're a huge fan of sports. You probably want to get more sports news, and by doing this, we might be able to pull you into our sports programs, right? Whereas the other one is taking the other tack of you are already an avid and rabid follower of our content, and so we want to give you a way to pay for even more of the Kool-Aid that you used to be drinking. So handle it.
Yeah, because we talked about that with Fox last week, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
We have a new streaming service rolling out now. If you're interested in it, Spectrum is now allowing you to get streaming TV service, and unfortunately, you have to have Spectrum internet to get it. The good news is okay.
Oh no, I was going to say this is essentially what Comcast did with their streaming over the top service.
Yeah, so it's another only within their own market streaming service by a television provider. Looks like they're starting off theirs at $25 a month for 25 channels, but it also looks like you will be able to add additional options to your services, like anything from a DVR, additional channels. It looks like it's a little bit more a la carte than many other services, but again,
yeah,
you're going to be stuck to being. The people in Southern California will have this option.
Let's be real. This is $45 because you got to pay $20 for your DVR. And so it's $45.
Okay.
They're giving those two people that want to watch stuff only live and not have a DVR a discount, but really it's $25 plus your $20 DVR, just like they do with their cable service. You know, don't throw everything in. We want to give you a cheap price so that we can then pull you in, but then we're going to add on more than 50% increase in costs, which is what, you know, that's the cable way. And so they're doing the same thing here. They're saying, oh, it's only $25 a month. Well, no, because it's $25 a month, plus you're going to pay for these extra channels and stuff like that, and you need a DVR to be able to actually use this reasonably. So you end up at $45, $50, $60 a month.
Yeah, and the key word here is this is a la carte. This isn't a bundle. This is, this is what people have been asking for in a la carte, which is what cable was, where you pay the $25, you get your small, basic, whatever, local, and then, you want to add these other packages, but you can add the packages you want. $7.50 for HBO, or if you want all of those bundles, it's $15, and you can right size it, but yeah, you're already paying what, like, I think the article said, like, average $65 for their internet, so this is on top of that. Right. You're going to hit that $100 plus mark really fast.
Well, and if you look at it, you're only getting 10 channels. I mean, really, like, you get 25 music channels, but I mean, who really uses their TV source for music channels, right? Like, we've got Spotify, we've got Amazon Music, whatever. You're really getting 10 channels. You do get to choose, which is nice. And for me, that would be sufficient. And at $25 a month, I could get all the channels I want out of 10, assuming that they're in that list of 65. They don't have everything, but it looks like they've got the majority of the big things. Yeah, so you get your broadcast, your major broadcast, and you get 10 channels for $25, which, again, that's not a bad price, but it's not really a solution until you add the DVR, which is $20. That's my big complaint.
Yeah, for me, I mean, in kind of the way I look at this is, it's another cable company got a streaming offering again, right? So, I mean, it's, we keep seeing this story happen over and over again. I think, name a cable company that doesn't have a streaming offering now, right? I can't think of one, right? And then, just a couple of years ago, none of them offered that hardly. Maybe Comcast a couple of years ago. But, you go back, maybe 5 years ago and nobody did, right? Matter of fact, they were saying, this streaming thing's just a fad, right? And, obviously that's changed now.
Yeah, see, if they included the DVR in this, I would probably switch over, because I am a Spectrum internet customer, and I pay about $45 a month is my guess for my PlayStation Vue. But I get a bunch of channels, way more than I need, and I have the ones that I care about, and I have a good functional DVR. And to me, this is the exact same price. And again, I stand by the fact that it's the exact same price because the $20 DVR is necessary. And I'm only getting 10 channels at that point. So why would I switch over to basically a less feature-rich solution just because I could make it cheaper, but I'm not going to?
Right.
And I'll say again, this is the cable mantra, right? This is what they do. $30 a month for your triple play. Oh, wait, it's $30 a month each of the three things. And then, oh yeah, but that doesn't include HD, that doesn't include your DVR. So by the time
and fees.
Yeah, and so then you're for what they advertise as $30 a month, you actually end up paying $90 plus all of the other things you need. It's actually like $170. This is the same smoke and mirrors that they try to pull on us, which is why I find something like PlayStation Vue so refreshing. Is they tell you what you're going to pay and they charge you that. I don't pay all kinds of extra fees. I don't have anything other than I pay for the number of channels that I want. That's it. I can get a bigger channel package.
Yeah.
Well,
I agree with you. I kind of had the same thing with Hulu. Go ahead, Matt.
Well, I was just gonna say that they're not the only people who are reimagining what the streaming services are. Um, we have Discovery, who has been kind of missing in many different streaming services for a little while. And I wonder why that is. I have a feeling that they kind of went, "Oh, this thing's not going to make such a big splash. We're going to stick with cable mostly." They've been on things like DirecTV Now and things and services like that, but they've been missing from various other ones. You couldn't get it on Hulu, for example, or YouTube TV's missing it. Well, it is now known that the CEO David Zalvas has come up and said, "You know what? We want to be on Hulu and Sling TV and YouTube TV. It's in our mutual interests for our channel to show up on all those services." I
Absolutely.
think somebody's had a change of heart.
I think somebody probably left the company,
Yeah.
which we'll find in a later story was the case. But I'm pretty sure that this is what they wanted to do for a long time, but there was a reason that they couldn't, and that blockade is now kind of been lifted, and they get to play the good guys and be like, "Hey, you know what? We really want to do this,
I mean,
and you
This
guys
is
are the
cool.
winners."
there's been some good stuff on the Discovery networks and stuff, so I'm happy to see that. PlayStation Views had it all along. I don't know why it's not listed in this.
Yeah, I've got it on DirecTV now.
Yeah. So I've had Discovery related channels for a while.
So,
It's-
what's on Discovery that's like the must-see show nowadays? Because I really
Hacking
can't think
the
of it.
system. Wait,
Oh,
no,
well,
that
okay,
was
that'd be
Nat
good.
Geo.
That was not Geo.
Yeah.
Nat Geo. Yeah.
Is that one of the Discovery family though?
No.
Is that part of their network? I don't know. It doesn't even matter. What does matter though is Shark Week, obviously.
Okay, there you go. I'll give you that one.
But
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
A lot of the other shows have basically gone away. Or
Yeah, it used to be MythBusters. They do have, at least for a long time, I think they still do have My Little Pony on their Discovery Kids.
oh yeah,
So-
because the Hasbro channel went away.
Right. So that's a big deal for my kids. They like to watch that.
Okay. We have another story. Remember the RTV box, the RTV player,
Mhm.
which was this cool little Android TV box brought out by a spin-off of Dish, I believe. They had one of these amazing features on it where you could actually add a little device to it that would allow you to also watch your over-the-air signals on
Air
the same
TV.
device.
Yep.
So it was called the Air TV. They've announced an update to the device that will now allow you to DVR local over-the-air programming onto the Air TV. I'm guessing it is onto some type of local storage you attach to it for speed. So
Well,
that
it's
means-
Android. It's built on Android TV, so you can connect local storage,
Right.
USB. Yeah, hard
So
drive.
you will be able to get your over-the-air signal, be able to record that over-the-air signal directly on this device, and have be able to get everything you want. I mean, this is more consolidation of your television onto this one device, which is wonderful.
This is really cool.
You know, this is what this is what they were kind of touting before, and I'm wondering if it's too little, too late, because they launched in January, like during CES last year.
Yeah, not this
And-
year, last year.
And when they launched it, they didn't have any of the features that they were showing at the show, and then it took forever for a lot of that to show up, and now they're finally getting around to the DVR. And the thing is, at this point, if nobody has bought it within the first year, they're not going to buy it. As far as the Sling player goes, the other box, so the Sling player is the white box with the cool, funky remote, which I like.
Yep.
The black box is just the like OTA tuner device by itself.
Okay.
Which it's not the same as the Sling player. but it's their other product. That I don't know how it's sold because I haven't really paid attention to it, and that may do well, but I'm not hoping, or I don't have a lot of
I'm sure they'll make hundreds of dollars.
I'm afraid they've already sold the ones they're going to sell. I finally saw one in the store the other day, and I was
A little sad.
I kind of was. I felt sad to see it there, and it was like, oh, you poor thing.
It's interesting because if this would have come out back when I made the transition to PlayStation Vue, then I would have been very likely convinced to switch to Sling instead, because this provides a really viable way to watch your local content over the air. And the Olympics was a good example of a situation where I found the Olympics somewhat difficult to watch because it was hard for me to find the event that I wanted. Specifically, watching the most important event, which was always what was being broadcast over the air on CBS, right? Mm-hmm. And so CBS's main affiliate was broadcasting it locally, but I couldn't easily find it online. I'm sure it was there somewhere, but I had trouble finding it. So like figure skating, which my wife wanted to watch, finding that was difficult. So I switched to over the air, and we just had to put up with commercials and a little bit of digital feedback, and I had to, go up and shuffle the antenna every once in a while. Interference, not feedback, but this would have been the correct solution for me, because then I could have had it set up all along and been ready to go and just recorded it when it came on. And then we could have watched it later, and that would have been far more effective. And that seems to have gone away, the idea of recording broadcast over the air stuff. And this is, it fills a need, I think, but I think you're right that it is too little too late. Like, people have already made the transition away from these solutions, and I don't think very many people are going to go back. They're just, well, if I can't get it, then I just can't get it, and that's fine.
And the biggest problem with the Air TV is that it is Sling centric. So if you're not a Sling subscriber, then this is not going to be of any interest to you to begin with, because when you start up the device, it boots directly into Sling TV. And the guide and everything is built around Sling TV. So that right there is the number one problem.
Yeah. Well, so now that, as Mike was saying, is it seems like all the streaming services now offer you your local stations.
Exactly. So
it is a little late for you to be now trying to get that over-the-air antenna thing working like it should. So especially since you have at least 3 or 4 different options available to you generally, with being the PlayStation Vue and YouTube TV and DirecTV Now and such. There probably still are some people are like that. I want to own my video and I don't want to have to stream it. And so, so those people, this is an option. There's other options out there. Like the Home Run is a very good option. It's available for a while. Does many of the same things. So, I feel like this is this now solution that should have been here a year ago is way too late.
But
too little.
On the other side of that, we do know that the Air TV adapter is supposed to work with Android TV across the board. So if they were to make this available to this OTA DVR, if they were to make this available across the Android TV platform, that is the big news. That would be the big news. Let me know when that happens, and I will praise them. Because then that means all of us that already have Android TVs that aren't Sling-centric would have options, and,
Well, go get a Home Run. Get the Home Run. Connect.
Well, no, with this, the difference is the Home Run, the cost, because I think that adapter was like $50, I think.
Yeah, 30 or 50 or something.
Yeah.
Well, how much is the adapter from Sling?
No, that's what I'm saying. The Sling adapter, the Air TV
The whole
adapter.
one's like $200.
No, it's
No,
not.
no. That was the Sling the Sling TV is like was like 150, and you got the Air TV with it free. But you could they were selling the Air TV separate for like $50. I think it was.
No, but the home run itself.
The home run, yes.
It's rather expensive. It's like $200 or $300 or
$70.
$70.
$70 for the
With no
Silicon
storage.
no storage, and
Oh,
neither does
okay.
that. So and you can plug it into any one of your devices, and there's HD DVR apps you can buy and download for it. So it's an option.
Yeah. Oh
Okay,
no,
so
it's definitely an option.
They've released a newer version than from when I was looking. So again, I looked at the home run back when I made that transition, and the only one they had the storage on it, and it was like several $100s.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
And didn't you have to pay for the
Cable card.
For the
TV,
guide. The guide.
The guide.
I believe
Yeah.
it is $20 a year.
Okay, so it's pretty cheap.
Yeah, it's not bad for you to buy their service. It's
So $70
pretty
and
reasonable.
$20 a year. That's reasonable. If
Right.
that's a lot better than it was. The upfront cost before was high enough that it seemed like a good enough barrier. Yeah, I mean I definitely
thought
put that again too.
It's just it seems like that this all in one solution that the Air TV is supposed to do is now too late since it's been done by Home Run. I'm certain Channel Masters doing something similar. So the other solutions are out there that are already working. So too little, too late, maybe. Oh my goodness! I'm sorry. I did not mean to bore you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Matt. Too little,
So-
too late.
Ugh. I did not mean to bore you. I'm so sorry. There. How about a story about PlayStation View? That should excite you. Hey, if you have PlayStation View already, this story is not exciting at all because it doesn't help you at all unless you want to watch your regional sports outside of your home. But if you want to sign up for PlayStation View, you can now do it not while you're home. You can do it on your phone or any other device over the web now. The signups do not require you to be at home anymore, which is kind of nice. And you can now start get remote access to some of the regional sports networks, even though you're not at home, which is a limitation they used to have, where you can't watch this stream unless you're at your home address. And now, actually, you're allowed to. This is a pretty nice little.
Yeah, so if you want to watch sports on
Right.
a very specific channel that is allowed, awesome. If
Yeah,
you want to
I-
watch anything else that doesn't fit into that narrow pigeonhole, too bad.
So this is going to be something that they're going to be working on. This is all contract language, and they're trying to talk to them and say, "Hey, come on, you should allow us our home our users to be able to stream your channel when you're not at home because you let them do that on Sling and you let them do that on YouTube TV and
Right.
so." They're going to be talking to them and saying and getting this contract language fixed so they can do the same thing. They just were early adopters and they had to get the contract language finalized to get early out the door.
Yeah, I mean, we're at the point now where this is actually an established solution, right? And the way that things are working for one that has been around for a long time, that's going to change. And to your point, it's a lot about contracts and stuff. Now, in addition to just being able to renegotiate because other companies are doing things like this, you also have to look at the fact that there's a lot more power here, right? PlayStation View now is a real player in the content provider world, as opposed to before it was really more theoretical. It's like, yeah, we're Sony. We have all of these users on PlayStations. We have this network. We have this user base. We're going to be able to sell a lot of this. So give us good deals. Now they actually have hundreds of thousands of customers, and they can ask for good deals. And Sling has over 1 million customers, and they can negotiate better contracts, much like the big cable companies were able to do before. So I think over the next year or two, you'll start to see changes in the way that offerings are able to be done, the types of features that they're able to offer, things like we're viewing from anywhere and stuff like that. because they're going to have a lot more power in those negotiations going forward. The Discovery article that we discussed just before is another example, right?
Mhm.
Discovery was leery to get into this, and so they definitely wouldn't sign very favorable contracts with companies. Now they want to be on every platform, which means, hey, where do we sign? As opposed to, no, you're going to have to bend over backwards to get us. It'll be, okay, give us anything and we'll let you have our network. And it's not going to be like that.
These are both signs that we might finally see the teeter-totter tipping the other way.
I want to see
Finally.
the tater tot.
The tater-totter?
Way. The tater totter. Yeah,
Sounds delicious.
it does.
Well, I'm excited that this is happening. I'm excited that we're finally getting that the streaming services are becoming a thing that people are actually recognizing as a valid way of getting your television. And I sure hope the various cable, internet, and television companies are not quaking in their boots, but simply being prepared to bring out new, exciting things for us consumers to enjoy, to compete against. That's what I want. Competition. Competition is fun.
Yay, competition.
Yeah.
Yay, competition. Let's see. We have a story about Epix. Anybody here ever watched Epix? I actually like Epix. It's a pretty good, nice little channel.
Do you watch the TV channel or the streaming channel?
I've never watched the streaming Epix channel, but I
Okay.
have watched the premium Epix movie channel selection, and they're basically, it's like a second tier premium movie channel. They go to the first tier first, and then they hit Epix.
It's what
second.
Stars used to be,
Yeah,
like in the
Starz
late
used to be that.
'90s.
Yeah, and I actually like that because it filters out all the other big, the the Cinemax and the Showtime and HBO has all their premium stuff, and then just like the really good movies filter into one or two of these channels. It's like, oh wow, there's a good movie on Epix all the time. Excellent. And well, looks like that they have announced they're going to be providing their own direct-to-consumer video subscription service. It's another streaming service, everyone. Just what we wanted. But this one will offer 4K direct to you, which means that you will be able to watch various different movies that are onto your 4K compatible device. And it sounds like they've got a whole bunch of movies coming up: GoldenEye, Spy Who Loved Me, Star Trek Beyond, and Transformers: The Last Knight. And I have never watched the original series Get Shorty, but if it's anything like the movie, it's probably really good.
Wait, there was a
It's-
series? Get
Apparently.
Shorty?
Yeah. This is kind of funny to me because this is a little bit exciting, right? I love the idea of a solution that provides me good 4K content. But then you look at the list of movies that they selected and it's like, okay, wait a minute. GoldenEye, I enjoyed, but that's like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Spy Who Loved Me is 40 years ago.
These
Star
are not
Trek-
4K
Okay,
movies.
well, that one's fairly recent. Transformers: The Last Night. Well,
That one's
Transformers.
got Mark Wahlberg in it. It's unwatchable.
Yeah,
In
it's
any resolution.
stopped being watchable after the second movie, and even that one was questionable. I did enjoy the first one, I will admit, though. And so it's like, really, okay, if these are the ones that you list, that means these are probably the better ones.
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
it's a good sign, but it's also a good sign that this is very early and it's not quite ready for prime time. Hopefully, we'll get some good movies available soon.
The question I had is, if you go back and look at the article, it says Epix will offer 4K streaming through its apps, plural.
Mhm.
How many apps do they have?
Well, one for
Or
each
do they
platform.
mean on all platforms?
Yeah.
So then,
Yes, all-
yeah, I don't like the
I know
way they
there's-
worded this.
I know there's an Epix app for the for Roku, for
Yeah.
example. And so
Yeah, because they made it sound like they've got multiple apps. Like HBO has HBO Go, HBO Now. They are technically
has-
two completely separate apps, right?
yes, they are.
But
And separate services running on separate back ends and everything.
exactly. Whereas if you're talking about a single app on multiple platform, that's still just the app. Because you have one app, it just happens to be on multiple platforms. But grammar.
You know, one thing is.
Never mind. I was just going to say, except that it's literally different apps. Like they have to write different code to make it happen. That's why they call it different apps. So.
One thing I'll mention quickly in this article, as mentioned there toward the end, is that, this Epix is starting to have 4K content or going to stream in 4K. And then, a premium service such as HBO does not still offer 4K. I just thought that was interesting, because they're probably, number one in terms of revenue, or one of the top ones in terms of revenue. And they still don't have.
It's because HBO wants to use the 4K as a carrot. They, all these years they've been saying, yeah, we don't care if you share passwords. I guarantee they're going to come out and say, we'd really like to give you 4K, but we can't do that while you guys are sharing passwords. Go ahead, keep sharing those passwords, but once you guys cut it out, we'll give you the 4K. But.
Well, 4K is hard, guys. I mean, just imagine how much bandwidth that would take to do for everybody.
Netflix does it.
Yeah, they have a server right next to your ISP.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of people provide the 4K.
Yeah.
You just have to have the equipment to decode it.
Apple does 4K. Google does 4K.
Yeah, I agree. But as
Hulu,
far as a streaming
Prime,
service,
Amazon does 4K as well.
Right, those are all individual. I'm VODing a single movie at a time. But how about an actual, basically channel-like 4K streaming service? We haven't seen very many of those yet.
Oh, you want it's just pure 4K.
But I don't think their app
doing as well.
Yeah,
right?
you don't think that's what? Yeah, you're probably right. They're probably not doing that.
No, I don't think because I don't think Epix is a live channel. It's just they've got stuff on demand.
I think.
Their app. I don't.
Maybe not on their app, but I believe there was on when you could get Epix on.
Well, just like HBO, right? Like, I mean, HBO was a channel, but on their app, it's not. This is what's live. It's here's all of the content.
Yeah, well, once a show goes live, it shows up on which is why, like when Game of Thrones is on, the minute Game of Thrones starts, you can jump to the end and tweet out the finish. And everybody's just getting started into the episode.
You jerk!
Everybody do that.
Don't be a jerk. Good advice.
Okay.
All right.
We have a story. If I sure hope we have some fans of F1 racing because they're getting their own streaming services for everyone.
Yay! See, this is one of the few sports that I actually care about.
Yeah.
And I've been angry that we haven't been able to watch F1 online.
Well, it seems like that this is a logical choice of a sport. There are some real gearheads out there who really love watching this. So this is gonna be they probably have a certain number of subscribers they've got.
Oh, it's gonna be all of them.
Even. But for they're asking to get somewhere between $8 to $12 per month, which means it's going to be $10 a month.
They haven't said. The article,
right.
The person who wrote this article speculates between 8 and like 10 or 12. Yeah.
So
is there a lot of F1 content?
The season. Well, once the season starts, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's races, and those races are not short. You're talking multiple hours of content.
Right, but is there like one race a weekend, or is it like football where there's 36 teams and so there's like
No. It's one. It's just a small number of people, and so like a race every week. Sometimes there will be multiple races, but.
And so then obviously there's commentary before and after that race, but it seems, I guess what I'm getting at is like, how much content is there really going to be for this, say during the season or even potentially during the off season? Is it something where you'll get 30 hours a week or 10 hours a
you're
week?
gonna get pretty sure you're going to get access to previous races. And then you'll get commentary. I don't know what additional content they're going to make, but this is to watch it live.
Yeah.
Make that is the distinction, because they are also putting out a less expensive non-live service called F1 TV, which will allow you to watch after the races are done. You can go back and watch it for probably a couple bucks. But yeah, this is I think because the season's starting up here in a couple weeks, and they say they're going to get this going in time for the first race in Australia. But this is what I was talking about. They the old CEO, head of the league guy left, and now Bernie Ecclestone. So now that he's because he wanted to stay well away from the internet. He was old guard, but now that he's gone, they're like, we're doing it.
Interesting. I'm reading here. A less expensive non-live service dubbed F1 TV access will also be available, providing live race timing data and radio commentary. So you'll be able to listen to the pit bosses speaking with this streaming service too. That sounds pretty cool. I mean, that'd be nice.
So, Clyde, let me ask you, what would this be worth? What's a fair price for this type of service?
It depends if it's monthly or yearly. If it was like MLB TV where you just, or like NFL, whatever, where you pay a bunch of money all at once, it might be, I'd probably throw down $50 for the season. If it's $12 a month, that's going to be a hard sell, because I still am not happy about paying $12 a month for Hulu with no commercials, even though I use that all the time.
Well, and that's why I asked about the content quantity is kind of from a pricing perspective. Though if, and I don't know how big of a fan people are of this versus other things, but like fights and even like some of the pay-per-view races and stuff like that, they charge like $40 to see those.
Yeah.
And that's just one fight. So I wonder if they'll kind of view this is a premium service. You can't watch these really easily any other way, and you'll get to watch all of them, kind of like Sunday Night Ticket, which is, it's like $300 a season for football to watch to have all of the football games available to you. So this potentially could be like viewed as a premium service, though the quantity of content compared to like Sunday Night Football is vastly smaller. So Sunday Night Ticket, I think, is what it was called. So.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. We have a last story here of an app for Amazon Fire TV and for Android TV called Channels. This sounds very generic. In fact, I think somebody somewhere could probably argue the name is too generic. But it's an app that's a third-party app called Channels that offers you a nice television interface for your over-the-air receiver onto your device, so you can watch all kinds of your stuff. You get your good grid view, you get your good search interface. This is a way to hook up to your HD home run or device and be able to watch live television and record to television onto your new device. Although it looks like the DVR is not yet available on these two new devices yet. This Channels program has been available for devices like the Apple TV. So this looks like a pretty premium looking interface for getting television on your device.
So the thing with this is a lot of people will look at it and say, well, my Apple TV already does this, or my Android TV already does this. The thing is, your Apple TV channel guide thing doesn't work on other platforms, nor does the Android, where this is like a unifying experience across multiple platforms. So you can run it on your phone, you can run it on your Apple TV, you can run it on, and then, so if you've got multiple devices in your house, you can have the same experience across them.
So my question, I guess, is if I pay that $25, which is the cost for this app,
Mhm.
does that mean that $25 means I don't have to buy it for each of my platforms?
Yeah.
At that point? Very
Well, I would assume so.
cool. Mm,
That I can't say for sure, but I would
Okay.
assume. And that would be, and how would you do that? Because that would be
Right.
easy done for Android, because Roku, where if you bought it from their website, they would give you a link to acquire it. But because those platforms will let you put up stuff that doesn't come from a specific store, Apple though will not.
It's the easy way to do it is for you to make the app free, and you do a sign in once and get paid that first time. Then each additional time on your
Yeah,
account,
you log
get
in with your account. Then
your login account.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
no, that makes sense.
Yeah, I just think the industry's evolving beyond this, right? I mean, I think most people that have a streaming device is going to pick up the remote of that device and say, "Hey, trigger word, play me whatever show," right? And that's the way they're going to do it.
Right now, somebody's changing their device to respond to trigger word.
I love that.
But I mean, these guys will probably make hundreds of dollars, I'm sure.
Oh no, this thing's been around for a while. And I mean, it's really popular. I love this because if I can access this with my Roku and my Android TV, and then also on my phone, I am big on the cohesive experience. I don't like going from device to device and then having to think, oh, how do I do it here? How do I do it there? It's like Netflix. Netflix is Netflix on each of the devices. If you've got a Channel Master or an HD home run, something on your NAS that you want to play on your TV, and then also this works with OTA as well.
Yep.
So, and yes, if you want that same experience and you use multiple devices, then this is the way to go. If you're just an Apple TV home, probably not going to matter.
Well, so I'm looking at it. It looks like there is no Roku access yet. Also, it looks like it does work with the iPhone, but not the Android phones yet. They are apparently working on the Android phones. So the Android TV and Fire TV are new.
Well, if it works for Android TV, it will work on the Android phone. They just have to remove 2 lines of code.
Yep, I know.
But still, if you're working, if you're using,
do.
but if you use an Android TV, can't you just say, "Hey, trigger word," and it plays whatever show?
Yeah, but the other thing is that this integrates into various things like if you have Netflix and if you have Hulu and things like that, it will be able to, within this app, launch those specific movies or shows through it in order to have a unified interface to all those things. That's what they're aiming for here.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm still having a hard time seeing the utility there. I mean, I get it. I get what it is, but I don't know. And I'm just speaking for me, but I just I mean, I have an Apple TV and a Roku. I don't have too much trouble figuring out how I do on both of those devices. And having that guide is one thing that kind of turns me off from cable television.
Well, but you're also not watching over-the-air television locally recorded on your network, which is what this is really aimed at. If you had a NAS that was hooked up to your antenna, and you're playing that content on one of your devices, you don't want to have to play it 3 or 4 different ways depending on the device you're using. You want a cohesive experience. You want the Netflix of that content. A lot of people use Plex, but not everybody likes Plex, and Plex doesn't give you the channel guide to tell you what's currently on. And that's where this comes in. This isn't for like normal streamers that are just getting all their content over the internet. This would serve absolutely no purpose.
To me, this seems like a really good niche product, right? Like there's a very specific type of user where this benefits. You have multiple different devices and you want a unified experience. You want to have over the air that you want to consume and use, and again in a unified experience. I think that, to Jimmy's point, I agree that for most users, this just doesn't make sense. It makes far more sense. I just bought another Fire TV so that I could have the same experience instead of having my kids have to use Roku and Fire TV in my living room. Now they have Fire TV in their room and Fire TV in the living room, and then I just stick the Roku in the guest TV. So this one behind me, nobody's probably ever going to use it, but it's there if the guests have, just want to sit down and relax, hiding away from the kids, for example, and watch a show. They can do that. They have to figure out the experience themselves. But in the other rooms, the experience is identical. They both actually integrate with my Echoes, so I can actually just say out loud, open up such and such show in Netflix, and it has the Fire TV and the Alexa integration is good enough that now it will open specific things in specific apps and stuff like that. So while it's still not perfect, I can't do YouTube because they, split with YouTube. So the YouTube app just opens up your YouTube on your browser now. But I can still watch YouTube. It's dumb that way, because otherwise it probably would let you search YouTube for the video you wanted using your voice. But anyways, voice search and voice commands make so much more sense now. Like, other than changing the volume, and I probably can control that with my Echo, it doesn't seem to make a lot of sense to me, because I don't feel like I'd have as fine a control as I'd like. But yeah, I mean, I don't even need the remote most of the time.
Yeah, I mean, I think Clyde's got a fair point. I mean, cataloging your recordings, I can see the utility in that, using this app and doing that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I just kind of think that even the DVR feature, I think, is going to go by the wayside, because I think it's all going to be video on demand in the future.
I would love to live in your future, by the way. I think if that's the case, if it's, hey, I pick up said device, I have connection to the services, whoever they are. I say I want to watch Joe Schmo's show on.
I think the Joe Schmo show is actually a thing, but
really, the Joe Schmo show is a real thing.
I think so.
And it pops up and says, "Great, do you want to watch the most recent episode?" Say yes. It just connects you, makes you pay whatever, and however much it is for that episode. It tells you right up front, oh, watching this episode is going to cost you $1.99. Okay, or your subscription that covers this. Okay, and then just go watch the show. No questions asked. That's the future I want too. Absolutely. We're never going to get there.
And
never going to get there.
I knew it was. I remember it was the parody of like The Bachelor, where they had this like normal regular guy and brought in all the hot girls, and they told him he was like a millionaire, but he was just like some nobody. And I remember that.
You found the Joe Show.
I knew it was familiar.
I can't even make up a show name anymore, man.
And that had to have been like in the back of your brain, because that's from like 2003.
No, I've never heard of that.
I'm going to add that to my queue.
It's got to be on demand someplace, because it was 2003 and 2004. Not any new episodes anytime soon. The show's almost 20 years old. But yeah, no, and that's what I was saying. If you're the type of person that can utilize this is awesome. If you're not, then you don't even need to worry about it. You can forget about it, and everything's cool. Moral of the story. All right, rock on. Well, I guess with that, we should. All right, what do we got? Rants, raves, reviews.
I've got just a little thing, and I don't know whether or not I've talked about this before. Have I talked about this before?
Sure.
Since you guys seen it? Okay.
Oh no,
I can't
I'm
remember
not
if
looking
I've-
at the document.
I can't remember if I've talked about the fact that I'm super excited about the new Incredibles 2 movie and the fact that the trailers come out. I'm sorry. This is just
Incredible
so
too.
so. The Incredibles is perhaps one of my favorites movies that ever came out. It is a wonderful spy movie, hero movie, and
If the Fantastic Four were a family,
right, exactly, and it really is a Fantastic Four too. But and they're not a family that works well. This is a family with all kinds of issues, and it was a great movie. It had an interesting pacing to it, and that felt well like it worked for its time. And now we have the sequel, and I was worried that they were going to ruin it, and it's very possible they still could have ruined it. I don't know. We haven't seen the movie yet, but they're picking up exactly right off the bat, right where it ended in the last one,
but
which means they're and from the trailer, it looks like they are just basically switching roles of Helen Parr being the person, being the popular superhero, and Mr. Incredible having to be Mr. Incredible dad at home. So I'm excited about watching this. This looks like it'll be a lot of fun.
It does look really good. I loved the first one as well. The only question I have is, why in the world did this take 14 years? It's like, I've been expecting this for a decade now.
they said, well, it worked for Star Wars.
Yeah, just shelf for a while, and then we do it again.
I don't. No, I'm guessing it's because they just wanted to do other things, and they finally came around, and somebody somewhere
They
said,
ran
"Well,
out
you
of
want-"
ideas and said,
Yeah, well, that's always true.
Okay, fine.
Brad Bird said, "Fine, we'll do Incredibles 2." Yeah, it's very possible they ran out of ideas because it seems like everybody's run out of ideas recently.
Yeah, they the Toy Story people refused to do a fourth one, and they
That's
just
not
said,
true. They're doing one. They're doing one.
Okay, or
They
it
are.
wasn't ready yet, so they're like, they needed time because both Tim Allen and the other guy were busy being
Thanks.
popular.
Tom Hanks.
Yeah, I've never heard of that guy. I don't know his name.
Yeah.
He's too busy getting hijacked by Somali pirates or while landing a plane on the Hudson. So,
And being stranded on a desert island and other things.
well, he wasn't really stranded. He was there with his buddy Wilson.
That's true.
Yeah. Now, rock on. Congratulations.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'll follow that because I'm excited about a different movie.
Uh-oh.
Ready Player One comes out almost this month, in less than a month, and I loved the book. It was super awesome. If you haven't read it, read the book and then go see the movie at the end of this month. It's like the 24th or something like that. So, Ready Player One was a phenomenal book. Like I said, read it and then go watch the movie. If you are a kid of the 80s, you owe it to yourself to read this book. If you're not a kid of the 80s, then you will still probably enjoy this book, but it won't be as amazing because it's like a nostalgia ride on a roller coaster through the 80s. It's pretty outstanding.
Well, the 80s have been picked pretty dry of all the nostalgia. I mean, how much more nostalgia can you get out of the 80s?
Well, they're still getting nostalgia out of the 50s and 60s.
Yeah.
All right.
That well never runs dry.
It is really a truly great book. So really worth reading.
I've read about a third of it, and I had put it down. I don't remember why.
I read the title a few times.
Then your soul must be broken, Matt.
Right now, I'm feeling like my soul is broken. Although I'm reading Artemis, and I'm enjoying that. So
Would it still qualify if you were in your 20s in the 80s?
Yeah. I mean, you lived through the 80s.
Do you have a nostalgic view of that decade?
I do.
All right.
I do.
then
Yeah,
probably.
there you go.
definitely. You'll appreciate it's got just a ton of references to the pop culture of the 80s and stuff like that. And so if you enjoyed anything that happened in the 80s, or if you thought it was
That's
funny
my
or
problem.
whatever, then you'll love it.
That's my problem. I didn't enjoy anything in the 80s.
What?
I was
The
just-
80s were great.
Really, what happened in the 80s?
I had a big wheel. I used to ride it down this crazy hill and do jumps. It was a Dukes of Hazzard big wheel that had the spin out brake, so I could come down the hill and slide around the corner and then up into my driveway, drifting before drifting was a thing.
Knowing that Clyde was riding Big Wheel in the 80s really makes me feel old.
Yeah, I got my first motorcycle when I was like 6 or 7. I started riding a motorcycle. Well, desert. Yeah, the 80s were great. 5th grade, I'd just ride my bike all over town, down there in San Diego, and
There were so many good movies in the 80s. Yeah, they don't necessarily hold up, but
we just watched Megaforce this weekend. They definitely hold up.
My God.
but there were some really great movies.
Yeah, Weird Science was a pretty good movie that doesn't hold up all that well.
But they had
it was
those
pretty good.
flops. They had those flops like Return of the Jedi, Ghostbusters. I mean, E.T. Nobody went and saw that.
Flashdance.
Terrible movies in the 80s.
Flash Gordon. Yeah, there you go. There's one.
No, Flashdance.
Flashdance.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah,
a maniac on the
Great
floor.
music
And she's dancing like she's never danced before.
Okay.
and horribly awesome fashion. And,
And
I mean,
and we had MTV back when it was actually
That's
music
when
television.
Yeah, when MTV was like 2 decades where it actually made sense.
yep.
So
Yeah.
this is all stuff basically I wasn't either interested in or I missed.
See, and the thing is, just as MTV was coming out, I can remember this, right?
Sorry.
And I was old enough to know this, right? Because all you guys were kids, right? But the bars back then, it was very popular back in the 80s, especially mid to or early to mid 80s. They were, and this was kind of a reaction to MTV. So the bars you would go to, on the weekends and all, they would have these big screens on there where they just play the videos like on MTV, right? And you would just dance to it, just like you was at home watching MTV or something. And that was a big fad for I'd say from about 82 on to about 85 or 6. I mean, it was just like every other bar you'd go to back then had something like that, right? And
See, for me, 80s was Legos and I'm playing with the Commodore 64 and some television shows and some movies, but not a lot. And so,
And I forgot, the greatest movie of all time came out in the 80s.
Yeah, which one's that?
The Great Muppet Caper.
See, I prefer A Muppet Christmas Carol. That's my favorite.
Well, that was good. That was 90s, though, wasn't it?
That-
Early
okay.
90s.
I guess I
late-
think it was early 90s, but that one was
But
my
yeah,
favorite.
no, The Great Muppet Caper is still one of the greatest movies. And they show up in that hotel and
Okay.
yeah.
Muppets are awesome. I agree.
Muppets are awesome.
Yeah.
All right. It's funny because I'm excited that Fahrenheit 451 HBO is put out the trailer for if I don't know how many of you have read it, but
Yeah, that made me think that maybe I should go back and actually read that. It's kind of one of those classics that everybody's supposed to read, but I never got around to reading, and so I thought, maybe I should go read that when I saw that.
It's one of those books that I was lucky enough. It was either 7th or 8th grade. I had a teacher that encouraged reading like this in 1984, and a lot of the books that kind of really, opened my eyes up to Animal Farm. We read Animal Farm as a class, and from that I said it okay, and we broke down the imagery and the allegory and what does this mean, what it and then said, okay, if you like this, go read this, and it provided a bunch of other books, and it was like, oh, and that's one teacher that I owe a great debt to, because I went through years after that, I started paying attention and seeing, oh, all the talking heads trying to tell me things that don't make sense, and looking at life through a different lens. But no, I at first when I saw they were doing it, I was kind of skeptical, kind of worried, but I watched the trailer and
it's good.
I'm excited.
Okay,
I'm very excited. I might make my kids watch it, but we'll see how.
That's like a month out, isn't it?
It's coming up, yeah. I didn't catch the exact date. But also, this last week, Ash vs. Evil Dead came back for season 3. And it's good. It starts out really good. So.
Is that a good show? I've not watched it.
I love it. If you're a fan of Evil Dead, the movies...
Army of Darkness.
Well, yeah.
That's
Evil Dead number 4 or 3. 3 or 4, yeah. If you're a fan of that franchise, then this show is a no-brainer. You will absolutely love it.
Well, I like that guy. I think the main actor
Bruce
on that,
Campbell?
didn't he? Yeah, he played in what was that? Burn Notice, I think it was. Right.
Yeah,
I really liked his character in that show.
See,
right?
he's playing the role that made his career, essentially, as a B-movie actor. And so he's been playing that role since, 79, 81, around there someplace. And he keeps coming, and it is great, because it's very over the top, and they go out of their way to make the effects realistic-ish while also being way over the top. So, when you chop somebody's head off, there's gallons of blood spraying all over the place, and it's great, and it is mindless fun. And like I said, if you're a fan of the movies, it's a no-brainer. If you're just a fan of Bruce Campbell, you'll get Bruce Campbell in his purest form. You may be a little confused about the backstory, but they do a good job of explaining the backstory through the first 2 seasons and resolving some of the stuff as they try to correct the things that happened. But yeah, if you're subscribed to Starz, no reason not to watch it, and it's also available. The first 2 seasons are available on Netflix now, but yeah, season 3 is great, and it's only 1 episode in. I'm so excited.
Very cool.
All right. Did you have anything, Jimmy? You haven't said anything.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I'll say, I think I've said this before on the show, but I went out this past weekend looking at 4K televisions again. Right? And so, I always get attracted by the OLED screens. And so I looked at those again. But one thing that I noticed or learned this weekend about the OLED screens. So, and when you go into these stores, right, you'll see one that's about, maybe $2,600. You'll see another one that's $2,700. Then you'll see one that jumps up to like $3,500, right? And all that kind of thing. And then they keep going up after that, right?
Oh, yeah.
So like in the case of like LG, right? Those were the ones I was looking at. All of those televisions have the same OLED monitor. They have the same processing on the inside as well. The difference is what you're paying for. You're paying for the audio quality that comes out of the television. That's what you're paying for. And if you
Don't care.
So if you don't care, and if you're like me, you have a home theater system anyway, you might as well just get the cheapest one.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So that's one thing I learned. And then the other thing that I took a long time looking at too, not an OLED screen, but the Sony televisions, right? Their pictures. They have a 4K. They have one high-end LED TV that costs as much as the OLEDs, and but the picture quality is really good. And then they have one that's like the next notch down, which is right about the $2,000 mark. And that one, and this is a 65-inch screen I'm talking about. So that one was, from my old eyes, seemed to be, about the same quality as what the higher price one was. And the one thing about that screen was it was a lot brighter. I mean, that's one thing about OLEDs is that the brightness on OLEDs isn't quite as much as what it is on the LEDs, right? So you'll get a lot more nits out of the LEDs than you will the OLEDs, right? So so those were the two that I liked. I liked the OLEDs, I liked the LG OLEDs, and I liked the Sony LED, right? So if I get a 4K television this year, it'll probably be one of those two. So
Jimmy, if you like turning your TV on in your bright room, that, and brightness is important to you, then that makes a lot of sense for you getting the LCD one from Sony. But if you're gonna go for the darkroom experience, you probably like the richer, blacker blacks of the OLEDs.
I do, but that's the thing in Florida, right? We have big windows in Florida. You don't have a dark room, really, a theater room, so to speak, in Florida, or most houses in Florida.
If there's no sun in Florida, it's probably the end of the world.
Right.
It's because there's a hurricane there, and you probably should have the windows barricaded and stuff.
Shouldn't be watching TV.
And watch your OLED.
Yeah, if I've got my storm shutters up, then the OLED would probably come in handy then, right? But day in and day out, it's better. And there's certain times during the day, it comes from one side during the mornings, and the other side at night or in the evening there. And the sun comes in, and if you had an OLED, I think it was kind of the same deal with the old plasma televisions, right? It would get washed out if the sun were to hit it. So I don't know. I still may go OLED because that's only just during 2 parts of the day that I usually don't watch television anyway. But the decision is between about 2,000 or so for a LED that has great brightness and all, or do I pay about $2,600 for an OLED?
Here's what you do, and this is I think a way that we can help you get this completely resolved.
Mm-hmm.
Pick the top 4 ones that you think you like, buy all of them.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
Then once you've got all 4 of them in your house and you can actually live with them for a couple weeks, then you just decide the one that you want to keep and then send the other 3 to us.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a good deal. Would we get any more subscribers if I did that?
I could create a whole bunch of accounts and yeah, definitely. All right.
So I'll let you know how it goes. Maybe I'll eventually pick one of those up. Before too long. I'm still thinking about it. And all that kind of thing. And the content's finally getting there. I think to where it's worth it to buy it.
Yeah, I think maybe we need a bumper for the continuing saga of Jimmy and his TV or Jimmy's TV.
Yeah.
We'll find a good title for that, and something will probably magically appear. But all right, rock on. Hey, just a reminder to everybody. Today is the last day of the month. Last day to get those automatic free Twitch subs in. I got mine in earlier. It's free money. If you haven't already given it to somebody, we are more than happy to take it. Just that button right up there, or it's over there, someplace on the screen. But if you want to throw those our way, we would be grateful. We appreciate it. Also, we are live every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Central here on Twitch. So if you're watching this after the fact, join us. Join us live. It's this is when the fun happens. Get to participate in the chat room. Submit title suggestions. everybody go over to tbs.showbot.tv, vote on those title suggestions for this week. And I think that is it. So thank you, everybody. Oh, also thank you, everybody, for the birthday wishes and for hanging out for the party on Saturday. It was a lot of fun. Megaforce was definitely worth watching. Matt, you got to go back. Matt, you got to go back and watch Pool Boy. Watch Pool Boy with your wife because you missed out on that one. And it's definitely something that you guys should watch together. So,
Okay.
It's great. But
I promise I'll go do that.
no, I'm serious. You should watch it. I think you'll actually enjoy it. But yeah, with that, guys, thank you so much for hanging out. All of you out in chat, thanks again. We will catch you later. Stick around for the post show. We are out of here. Bye.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.